Guys, you will recall during when MK Party came back and when they won significant numbers of vote, I told you that Zuma is back. And I said to you guys, this year you will learn politics 101. Do you still remember that statement? Some of my utterances have been proven right by Dali Mpofu that exposes Julius Malema and exposes some of the things that I said then. They had a strategy that they all agree on, but I don't know how Julius Malema decided. Look, I'm still trying to figure out where, because some of the questions that Malema was asked in most of the podcast, he has never answered some of those questions, refused to be direct on some of those questions. That would have given us clarity as to where exactly, what exactly happened and how it happened that now they became a fierce enemy with MK Party. What happened? How it happened? Who betrayed who from the beginning, from the inception of this agreement? Who betrayed who? It's easy for us on the ground to get involved in this, start insulting one another. Because when you talk this type of politics, I can almost guarantee you there's going to be insult, because these people love Julius Malema such that they don't want to hear his name mentioned in a bad way. Or that group love President Zuma. They don't want to hear his name being mentioned in a bad way. And because of that, you will then hear these things. You will then hear this, or the approach into this thing will be driven by how we feel, our emotional and inclination to these leaders, instead of the fact at hand, instead of the fact on the table. But at this moment, Dali Mpofu finally exposes Julius Malema that I'm gonna allow you to play this. I'm gonna allow you to listen to this video. But in this video, you get a sense that, so there was a proper plan, there was an agreement, to which Julius Malema himself does confirm meetings, knowledge of MK Party coming into existence before everybody knew about it. He does confirm that. You will remember Julius Malema said that Jacob Zuma informed him. Do you still remember that interview where he said he was informed by Jacob Zuma that he's going to do this and this? Do you still remember that? So the question is, what happened? Okay, while you are asking that question, it would be nice for you to listen to Dali Mpofu. Here.
There will be 3 blocks in South Africa. One block will be the ANC itself. The other block will be the Moonshot Pact led by the DA, the right wing. And we must form a 3rd block of progressive organizations, which at that stage we call the Patriotic Front. Now, the idea was this, comrades, that when the ANC loses power, then they must be forced to negotiate with the progressive bloc in what we call in politics a voting bloc. That means that they should not be able to speak to the UDM, the EFF, MK, and so on. They should speak to us as a group so that we can use that power. And then there was agreement in general that I was asked with Carl Niehaus to go and draft a document which will have 10 minimum demands that will unite those organizations. And so things were now moving. But here's another important thing that Umsholozi's genius showed. He said before the launch of Umkhonto weSizwe, I want to see some of the key leaders, because I know people will feel threatened. They will think maybe we want to stop their organizations. And he said, I want one-on-one meetings with some of those leaders. And I went to find those people. So before the launch, he had a one-on-one meeting with Uzungula, with ATM, Siamazi Sonke and it. He had a one-on-one meeting with Olomisa, Siamazi Sonke. And he had a one-on-one meeting with Julius Malema. I was there. One-on-one. Again, nami sengifana nomsholo zithi ngelinye ilanga ngisazokhuluma. But those meetings took place, and then came the very important day of the 16th. This is history, my comrade, and one day this history will be told. On the 15th of December, we sat in Hyde Park, Kwatutu, and we were now finalizing the statement that was going to be announced the following day. So I'm sure all of you saw the message. Kwatu akusasa kuzoba ne press conference kamsholozi. Wayenza vele leyo press conference, made the announcement, and from that day South Africa was never the same. Now the ANC made two very important mistakes. At first, they started by ignoring that announcement, and then it was too difficult, and they said they are going to take us to court, and that's exactly what Msholozi was hoping for. Because when they went to court for the name of the ANC and the logo, they lost all those cases. But more importantly, those cases were used for mobilization, as you know, because there was no money. So the only campaign of Umkhonto was going to court in Bloomberg. Our campaign again, we must send Mbalula. Siyabonga kuGwede noMbalula yebo basizile ngokwakumkhonto wesizwe. So, and then omunye wasiza futhi uJabulani Khumalo naye wasise court kwaba ngama mobilization rallies lapho. Then another very important decision. Ufuna nje ukunibonisa ukuthi umuntu ohlakaniphile esikhuluma ngaye. All of us were saying the manifesto launch of Umkhonto wesizwe must be here in KZN, because this is the base and it. What no. A manifesto is going to be launched in Gauteng. Gauteng. And he went to launch that manifesto. You remember Orlando. That was a tactic. And as a result, after KZN, the next highest number of votes that we got in 2024 was in Gauteng. So we're dealing here with a thinker. Anyway, Africa Gama elections, kwenzekayo. Baba surprised. And then this is where the mistake really happened. Because those organizations that had been consulted at that stage allowed the ANC to deal with them one by one. Unlike what President Zuma had said should happen. Now, we said, okay, so now we have this KZN issue. Comrade Mervyn Dex was not answering that question. I can tell you now, KwaZulu-Natal is going to be ruled by Umkhonto wesizwe.
Now, I hope and I wish you were listening to this, not with just these emotions, you know what I'm saying? Not with such emotions that you feel like, I need to defend Julius Malema la. I need to defend what. No. I came across this by Patricia _Bantam Bantam Uti. The truth by Advocate Dali Mpofu. No lokoti no we not bo nywe betrayed. Wara Wara stopping their organization. Which organization? Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi was right. The entanglement failed. But how did it fail? Who was the cause of the failure in this? It's very interesting, but because sometimes we tend not to follow the truth, but we follow emotions. It is easier, Vele, for politicians to play on us. To play onto our emotions, because we are not truth seekers, but we are emotionally driven, man. We can insult one another on things that we ourselves don't even know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We are not even sure of them, but we can insult one another. We can take each other to, hey, I don't know, but you know what I do know. It is the fact that now we now know Uguto from the beginning. Jacob Zuma foresees some of these things. Jacob Zuma sat down with all these leaders. Amongst the leaders that he sat with them down is the leader ATM, who is now part and parcel of GNU. You understand? Now, there's another thing that he said, which kind of felt like, wow, that's quite interesting. Think about it. And they had these people, they had a plan. And I think if this plan worked properly, MK Party will be governing KZN today. And I'm wondering, but even in general, now I'm thinking about it, guys. I think the result would have been different. I think politics in this country would have been different. But also, I think then, if I was the EFF, for instance, because you were looking at stats as well, it would have been difficult for Julius Malema to trust that Zuma can pull the numbers that he pulled. Maybe like other people would have thought that 7%, you know what I'm saying? So maybe then, you understand? They were surprised by is it 14 or 15 national? They were surprised by that. I think it's 14 or 15 la. So, because nothing had happened at the time that would have told them or would have given them an idea, it would have been easier, Vele, for EFF to undermine Jacob Zuma, to say, but you were winning because Bogu ANC. But there's another interesting thing as well that advocate Dali Mpofu is basically exposing. There was this time where I said to you guys, when you take MK Party to court, they are going to use that to their favor. People thought I was lying. Confirmed. I told you, you do not take MK Party to court. You see what Jabulani Khumalo is doing now, taking MK Party back to court. They will use it again. Look, they will use that same thing against Jabulani Khumalo to gain momentum. I am telling you this. You don't take MK Party. That's okay. That's why ANC, where they refuse to have a one-on-one with Jacob Zuma, because they know that MK Party is going to use that to their advantage. And ANC is scared of Jacob Zuma. They knew that he's going to beat them with publicity and gaining more traction. Do you still remember when they announced that Zuma is summoned at Lutuli House? Do you still remember the reaction? There was a trend that we are going back Wakoko. They realized, we made a mistake. They said, nope, postpone it after elections. After elections, they realized, no one-on-one. We want him at a distance. Because they realized. But just like what Dali Mpofu is saying, good. When Baba Fikile Mbalula took MK Party to court, Zuma had trapped them. It was a trap from Zuma. He trapped them. And he was hoping that this is what they're going to do. I said to you guys, some of us are learning from Jacob Zuma how he can anticipate things. That is what Mpofu is saying, that he anticipated that if they were to do 1, 2, and 3, this is what we will do. And boy, oh boy. You see, Abafekile and Mbalula responded out of their emotions, trying to defend, right? And they were playing into the hands of MK Party. The other time I said, speaking about this, I think it was along these lines, when I say, you don't allow yourself to react, or your reaction should not be dictated by your enemy. Because if your enemy dictates your reaction, they can dictate anything and everything about you, right? As a person, you must know, you understand, there's something that I'm currently dealing with now. In this thing, I can foresee that, okay, if they move this way, we are going to court. We are going to argue 1, 2, 3, and 4 in court. And I already can tell the weaknesses of these people that will be arguing in the court. You understand? So I'm not going to allow people to dictate how I'm going to respond. I'm already prepared for this legal battle. And I can already see and anticipate it. That's life. In life, you should not... The other time I said it this way. Don't allow your enemy to start a war against you, or look with you. Or when a person starts a war with you, run away. Not because you are a coward, but because I don't want to fight a war that was started by somebody else, because you're going to beat me. So I don't want to start a war that was initiated by somebody else. No. Why? Because you dictate the conditions, you dictate the terms if the war is started by, you know what I'm saying? But Jacob Zuma in this case is arguing very differently. He anticipates you starting the war, you having to dictate the terms, but then when you start fighting the war is fought on his terms, not on your terms. Guys, learn something. If people were to learn this, people who have employees, anticipate what they will do. You understand? Never be afraid to go to court. A court shouldn't scare you, but prepare for those things. Those who are, look, we are in a relationship, right? You must anticipate that one day that you're going to get dumped. You must anticipate that despite how much you love this person, these are the lessons that you should draw from this. You must anticipate that one day you're going to get dumped. When you get dumped, this person is going to turn bitter against you. They will want to fight ugly. How are you going to respond? That is what, when you listen to the story Saga Jacob Zuma here, that's what you should be learning. You and I should be learning that, to say, okay, when a person starts a war with me, there comes a time where you just have to run away. But there are times where you need to stand up because you have calculated these things. You know, okay, this one is going to run to the CCMA. This is what we're going to argue. This one is going to run to this court, criminal court. This is what you... The other time I was talking to a lawyer who was saying to me, should not be afraid to be arrested. It's part and parcel of the chain. As long as we can prove that you are innocent, you're going to get arrested, or people will take you to court, waste your time, right? But there will be legal repercussions. If you waste my time, that's why in court they will say, if I win the case, right, I've got a right to claim, to say, I'm claiming you wasted my time, which is worth this much, and my transportation fee, and the legal cost, which weighs this much, which is this much. Therefore, I need you to pay my legal cost, and you'll pay it. The court will force you to pay that. So, what I'm saying is, if we people can learn, you will learn what this story Saga Jacob Zuma, it teaches you. It teaches you to be in tune with your emotions, right? Keep it in check. Don't allow your emotions to dictate these things for you, but anticipate that one day, you understand, anything can happen to you. And I was listening to somebody the other time who, was training us at church. I remember the other time they invited somebody to train us. They were saying that when you are always ready, it is like look, it is like something that happens natural. You are most like you are less. There are less chances of you getting attacked because you are always ready. You are always anticipating that thing to happen to you. To get what I'm trying to say? I can go on and on and on. But the lesson that we should be learning here from the master of chess is how you can trap people to fall into, how you can push people to fall into your trap. When they're fallen into your trap, how you come back from there, how you defeat your enemies and you come back from that. That is what we need to learn from this. It's not just something that should something that should be just music into your ears. No, there's a lesson that you need to learn here. The master of chess is teaching you a lesson. Come on, guys.